Alright, the last item on the agenda for today is a conversation about modules. We've used one a little bit before here, just shortly, and now we'll go into explaining it a little bit. And I think the best way to see what these things are is by creating our own. So what I prepared for you is an external file right here called module_example.py. This is the file extension and it's important. Yeah, and this file I have open here in my editor. What I'm going to do with it now is I'm going to extract some functionality from my notebook and just copy it inside this file. Alright, so I'm copying my class definition in there, and then one of the Fibonacci sequences like this. Let's take this one, the function for it. Okay, and I'll add a constant here. I'll call it module constant, and I'll just put the string m inside it. Okay, right, now save the file. That file needs to be next to the notebook that you're using if you want to import it like I do right now. And what we can do now is use the import statement to load this code from outside into our notebook. So import module.example, and I'll give it a shorter name. You can use as to reference this basically. Yeah, so module example as me. I'm executing this. You need to wait for a bit, and then we can access variables, functions, classes that are defined within this module. Yeah, to that end, let's check the constant me.module_constant, and it is, as expected, m. Right? So modules are a way of basically shipping code. Yeah, you don't want to have one eternal script. Instead, you will separate it into multiple files, and then you can import them as such. Yeah, if that file is in the same directory as your project, you can import it directly. If not, like the modules that we use from different libraries, this becomes a little bit more complicated. But this is what happens when you install Anaconda, basically. A lot of foreign modules get copied on your computer for you to use. Yeah, examples of that we'll give in a second when we go a little bit through the standard library we have already used, but when we talk about math. Let's see now what else we have in our own module. You're familiar already with the Fibonacci sequence function. Let's go and use it. This time we're not using the function from within this notebook, but instead the one from here. Let me do a test. I restarted the notebook, so the function should not be visible. The function that we played with inside, yeah, it's not visible. But the one from the module is. You see this prefix of the module, me, yeah, because of that import statement right there. That's how you tell Python that you're calling something from an external module. me dot compute Fibonacci sequence, and here we pass 10, and we will get the first 10 Fibonacci numbers as we discussed before. All right, the same with the class. If we instantiate a vehicle, we can do that again. So this, you can see it, the kernel was restarted, so you can't actually instantiate the vehicle from here. v1 is equal to vehicle of type car, because if I remember correctly, car has a print statement, but nothing will happen right now, yeah, because vehicle is not defined. On the other hand, it is defined in the module that we just copied it to. me.v1 vehicle car, and name vehicle is not defined. Yeah, my bad. Of course, this prefix has to be for the name, yeah, that is here, the class name. Module example.vehicle initializing car. All right, so this is the basic idea behind modules. Yeah, you have external functions and classes and constants and whatever you want that you can use within different scripts. All right, let's see an example from that is very frequent actually, the math module. It's part of a larger library. Let's see, import math. This will be useful for you because you have a lot of functions inside that are pretty universally applied. Like you have constants like pi, math as m. Okay, and now m dot pi. Let's see what's in here, and you see that's the constant, the value of pi. Floor you can use to round numbers down. Let's round pi down. M dot floor pi. This is a function. That function, similarly to our compute Fibonacci function, yeah, is defined inside the math module. So you can use it on the constant that, similar to our module constant m, is defined in the math module. All right, so we're going to round pi down right now, and you get 3. Yeah, and you have all sorts of functions like this. You'll have to, by Googling, you'll find a lot of information and people using different modules, different functions from them. If you're more interested in math, you can do that. That's my recommendation to you. Whenever you're interested in a function, in a particular function, first check whether it exists, online already. Chances are that it does. M floor, okay, let's do a square root of pi. This is sqrt, square root of pi, and so on. You get the idea. All right. The standard library is a little bit more special. We've been using this actually throughout the day. Print is an example of a function from standard library, and for this you don't need to import anything. It's just available. Whenever Python is ran, it knows these functions. It's basically an automatically imported module, quite a large one. Print, yeah, we've used it. We've used it. Similarly, for range, you've seen how range works, also a function from the standard library. The ones that you haven't seen, type. Type can be used to query the particular type of a variable. Like if we put a float in here, it would say that it's a float, 3.0. Right, this is a float. And you can also check, like this. You have a particular variable, this might be unknown. Let's put it in a number here. N is equal to 3.0. Type of n, we're trying to check if this is equal to float. And this should return true. And if I make this into an integer, it should return false. All right. And you can use this also for other types. Let's check what the type of vehicle is. So the type for the variable v1, right? v1, and this should return something like yeah, it's not a float, of course. It should return module example.vehicle, right? So the where it is defined. Okay, that's how you use type. Sorted is another frequent example from the standard library. For this, let's define a list. Let's say 4, 5, 6. And now I want to sort this list. You can do that. Let's put here 10 because it was already sorted. L sorted is equal to list of sorted this. And now I want to print L sorted, and you should have 4, 5, 6, 10 inside. There we go. Yeah. Another example from the standard library is reversed. This can be used to reverse sequences. Yeah. It works for lists. We can reverse this list, and we should take let me just change the names for a second. Use print, use as many functions from the standard library as possible. All right, print, and here I'm not going to print it, I'm just going to output it. So this output will be 6, 5, 4, 10. 6, 5, 4, 10. right? The list reversed. Many more other examples could be found online. All right, and a module that we'll work with a lot is this one, the pandas thing. Yeah, and a few others at that, scikit-learn, and this is just the beginning. All right, another note. Look, if we want to change, this is the particularity of Jupyter Notebook, okay? Like, we want to change, we exported a lot of code because the notebook became too big, and we put it in this external module in here, and now we want to change the function a little bit. Let's change the Fibonacci sequence thing, and we'll add a print statement here. Print I'm good. Yep. I'm good. I've changed. Don't believe him. All right. So now we changed the functionality of our function. Yeah. But let's see what happens if we try to consult the function that was already loaded into Jupyter. And what happens is that this print statement doesn't pop up, although we wrote it in here, right? What actually happens is that you need to restart the notebook for this to take effect. Yeah, I don't want to do that right now. I can show you another way of saving the changes, which is by using this import lib. Yeah, this is another module, an external library, import lib. This is the name of the thing. Yeah, and this time I won't name my module. I'll just use it as is. And what this import lib offers is, amongst other things, a function that allows me to reload a module. Import lib.reload, and now I will reload my module, a module example right here. All right, I reloaded this. Yeah, I did rename it. Yeah, I said import module example as ME, and I want to reload this, but because I renamed my module right there for reference, I need to use that exact same reference within the reload function of the import lib. All right. Okay, so we're reloading this, and voila, the change that we've implemented in the Fibonacci sequence function is now revealed. Okay, this concludes the crash course. Whenever you have questions, call me and write me an email, and go through the exercises that we have prepared for you, because there's no other way to really learn programming than by actually using everything. All right, have fun with the new stuff that you learned today.